Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Hare Hare,
Krishna
Hare
Hare
Rama Hare
Hare
Rama,
Ram,
Rama
Hare
Rama
Ram,
Hare
Hare
Hare.
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Ram,
Krishna
Ram
Krishna,
Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Ram 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 Hare Hare. जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्ण dear devotees. So today is Thursday. It is Bhadra Masa or Krishikesha Masa, Krishna Paksham and Tadiya Tithi. So there are no experiments in that calendar. So we shall quickly move into daily Srimad Bhagavatam. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Hare Krishna. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, so Lord Brahma is speaking about the Krishna's Leela incarnations. So we have so far explained about around 6 incarnations. So first incarnation is the Varahadeva, second incarnation is the Vyagna, third incarnation is the Kapila Muni, and then fourth incarnation is the Dattatreya, and fifth incarnation four Kumaras, and sixth incarnation and it is a Naranarayana Rishi. So yesterday Naranarayana Rishi, so they were appeared to perform Dushyarantapaha, to perform very severe austerities and penances. Dharmasi daksha दुहितरः अजनिष्टमूर्छां नारायणो नर इति स्वतपः प्रभावः दृष्ट्वात्मनो भगवतो नियमावलोपं देवस्वनङ्गपृतन व्यक्तुं न सेकुः. So due to their austerities and penances, even though the demigods they come and trying to disturb their austerities and penances, they could not. And also, instead, the Narayana Rishi he generated the so many apsarasas from his body. So that is about the Naranarayana incarnation. And then further today, he is explaining about the glories of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So here he was saying that, so Narayana Rishi was the, even though the demigods come and try to disturb him with the lust, so to awaken the lust within the Narayana Rishi, but he could not. But so now he is explaining about the many people, they come into the wrath of the lust and anger. Many great people. And but the Lord, Supreme Lord, He is the master of this lust and anger, and He is above all of these things. He is above all of these things. So how can any lust or anger would enter into the heart of the Supreme Personality of Godhead? Likewise, Brahma is saying to Narada Muni. So we are in the Srimad Bhagavatam, second canto, chapter 7, verse number 7. कामं दहन्ति कृतिनो ननु दृष्ट्या रोषं दहन्ति मुत ते न दहन्ति असह्यम् सोऽयं यदन्तरम् अलं प्रविशन् भिवेति कामः कथं नु पुनरस्य मनः श्रयेताम्. कामं दहन्ति कृतिनो ननु रोषदृष्ट्या. So kamam is the lust, dahanti. So dahanti means so chastise. Kamam dahanti kritino nanu rosha drustya. Kritina is the great stalwarts like Lord Shiva. Nanu rosha drustya by the wrathful grants. So there was So Lord Shiva also come into the wrath of the anger when the Cupid or Kamadeva come and throwing his flower arrows unto Lord Shankara. He was also coming to the wrath of anger. Kamam dahanti kuritunu nanu rosha drustya. Rosham dahanti mutate na dahanti asahyam. So rosham dahanti mutate na dahanti asahyam. It is very difficult to uh, win this wrath of the anger. One cannot get the free from anger, lust and anger. So this is about explaining. So it is very difficult. Even the great stalwarts like Lord Shiva, they come into the wrath of the anger and the lust. Even though Lord Shiva, he was not in the karma desires. Even he conquered, but still, even though he was able to burn the Cupid into ashes, but still he got the angriness. So that is Kamam dahanti Krishna nanu rosha drustya rosham dahanti mutavate nadahanti asahyam. It is very difficult. And then yed antaram alam pravishan bhiveti. So the Supreme Personality of Godhead, He is above all of these things. He is very pure. How can any lust would enter into him? Kamam kataha na punarasya manashrayeta. Kama katamnu punarasya manashrayeta. Kamaha, the Cupid. Katamnu, how can it would enter punarasya, re-enter into the Supreme Lord and take the shelter of manashrayeta. It would take the shelter in his mind, so it cannot take. So he is above all of them. Likewise, Brahma is saying, Kamam dahanti krutino nalurosha drustya rosham dahanti mutate nadahanti asahyam. Soyam yed antaram alam pravishan bhibeti kamah katamnu punarasya manashrayeta. So translation for this verse. Great stalwarts like Lord Shiva can, by their wrathful glances, overcome lust and vanquish him. Yet they cannot be free from the overwhelming effects of their own wrath. Such wrath can never enter into the heart of Him, the Lord, who is above all this. So how can lust take shelter in his mind? Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So can I request any unallocated devotees to read this purport, please?
Will I read, Prabhuji?
Yes, Mataji, please.
Hare Krishna. When Lord Shiva was engaged in severely austere meditation, Cupid, the demigod of lust, threw his arrow of sex desire. Lord Shiva thus began angry at him, glanced at Cupid in great wrath, and at once the body of Cupid was annihilated. Although Lord Shiva was so powerful, he was unable to get free from the effect of such wrath. But in the behavior of Lord Vishnu, there is no incident of such wrath in any time. On the contrary, Bhrigumuni tested the tolerance of the Lord by purposely kicking his chest. But instead of being angry at Bhrigumuni, the Lord begged his pardon, saying that Bhrigumuni's leg might have been badly hurt because his chest is too hard. The Lord has the sign of the foot of Vrigu Pada as the mark of tolerance. The Lord, therefore, is never affected by any kind of wrath. So, how can there be any place for lust, less strong than wrath? When lust is desire not fulfilled, there is the appearance of wrath. But in the absence of wrath, how can there be any place for lust? The Lord is known as Aptakama, or one who can fulfill his desire by himself. He does not require anyone's help or to satisfy his desire. The Lord is unlimited, and therefore his desires are also unlimited. All being entities, but the Lord are limited in every respect. How then can the limited satisfy the desires of the unlimited? The conclusion is that the absolute personality of Godhead has neither lust nor anger. And even if there is sometimes a show of lust and anger by the absolute, it should be considered an absolute benediction. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna.
Jai. Thank you, Mataji. So here in this purport, Prabhupada is explaining about the Lord Shiva. Even so, once upon a time, Lord Shiva he was meditating. So there was a demon called Taraka. So he was disturbing all the demigods, and at the time, Taraka has got a benediction that I would be killed only by the son of Lord Shiva. So at the time, there is no Parvati. And then, so Sati Devi was, she was with the Yoga Agni. She has burnt her body by herself with the Daksha's improper behavior towards Lord Shiva. So during that particular period, Taraka there was demand, so he has meditated and he got the boon from Brahma, and then that I will be died only by the son of Shiva only. So with that one, he was making disturbance in the throughout the universes. So at that time, the demigods got disturbed and they wanted to somewhere or other. And also, Mother Parvati, she was reborn as the daughter of Himavan. At that time, she was very young. And then they wanted to somewhere or other bring Parvati to Lord Shiva and wake him from his meditation so that he begot a son. So at that time they were using Kamadeva to awake the Lord Shiva. So and here Mother Parvati she was serving she was very young and she was serving Lord Shiva in various ways, cleansing all the places and bringing the flowers for everything. But he is in the deep meditation. He's not caring for anything. Likewise, she has been doing for so long. And so demigods, they wanted to wake Lord Shiva. So at the time, Kamadeva comes there and then he was using his flower arrows onto the Lord Shiva. So Lord Shiva was not agitated by the lust, but still, as soon as he got a bit disturbed by this, Kamadeva, and when with his third eye, he opened that and then the Kamadeva burned to the ashes. So at that time, uh, Lord Shiva, so there he got angriness. He was coming to the wrath. But later on, Lord Shiva, by looking at the austerities of Mother Parvati, and then he asked the boon what you wanted, Parvati. Then Parvati says, let the Kamadeva to revive his life. And then after that, Lord Shiva and Parvati, they begot a son, the Skanda, or the Kartikeya, who has killed Taraka later on. But still, here such kind of great personalities like Lord Shiva, they are coming under such wrath, even though he was able to conquer the lust. So this is Prabhupada is explaining here. But such kind of wrath doesn't happen in Lord Vishnu. So, and again, here once again with the incident of the Brugumuni. So, Brugumuni, so once upon a time again, there are some great sages, they are performing the sacrifices and everything. So, they wanted to offer the results of the yajna to one of the principal demigods, principal gods, either Brahma, Shiva, and Vishnu. So, there at the time, all the sages they chose Brugumuni. Um, to test who is the god, who is the principal god to whom we should offer the results of all these sacrifices. So at the time, Bhrigu he tested Brahma without offering his respects through his mind, and Brahma was a bit angry, but he did not say anything. And then he went to Lord Shiva, and then when Lord Shiva trying to come and hug him, so but there he made his offenses through words. You are not clean, I don't hug you. Like that. And then uh, later on, so Bhrugumuni observing that Brahma, he got angry, but he controlled him. So and then he came to Lord Shiva, and Lord Shiva also bit angry at the time with Bhrugumuni. So again, so he also got some observation from there. And then now third time he went to the Vishnu, where no Vishnu knows everything. He is in the heart of all the living entities. So there, Bhrugumuni, even the Vishnu, he purposefully he was thinking, engaging with speaking to Lakshmi Devi. So Bhrugumuni he got bit more disturbed already. He went to the two demigods, and now he came to the Vishnu. So he was with angry through bodily action. He has kicked the Lord on his chest because he was not as he was not treated nicely. And then so this is done purposefully. And later on, Lord Vishnu. So he's saying that. Lord begged his pardon and saying that Bhrigu leg might have been badly hurt because his chest is too hard. This is pleasing the Brahmana. And then later on, Bhrigu's that kind of testing nature it is gone, and he begs his pardons to the um, unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Uh, of course, there is another pastime. So and again how the Vishnu is appearing as Lord Venkateshwara or Lord Srinivasa. Again, this is about the pastimes of Lord Venkateshwara again. Okay, so that is once again here. The Lord is never affected by any kind of wrath. So how can there be any place for the lust? So the Lord is above all. And here, when lust or desire is not fulfilled, there is appearance of wrath. So this, how do we, it affects us in day-to-day life? ध्यायतो विश्यान् पुंसः सङ्गास्तेषुपजायते सङ्गात् सञ्जायते कामः कामात् क्रोधो विजायते क्रोधोद्भवति सम्मोहः सम्मोहात् स्मृतिविभ्रमः स्मृतिभ्रंशात् बुद्धिनाशो बुद्धिनाशात् प्रणश्यति. So it starts from the contemplation on the objects. Jhayato Vishayan. Vishayan is the material things. If we are contemplating on those such kind of things, then Sangha, we will associate with such kind of objects. Sangha Sanjayate Kamaha. So we wanted to fulfill such kind of desires. If I'm watching some kind of picture on the wall, some kind of materialistic movies, then one will feel that, oh, I wanted to see this movie. So desire comes. So just because contemplating it, as soon as his eyes are open and seeing in this material world, some contemplate what is this, who is he, and who is that, and what is this means. So that is contemplation, and immediately the desire comes. I wanted to see it, what it means. And then if desire is fulfilled, then another desire. What would be another thing? What would be another thing? So many desires. If desire is not fulfilled, he got bit upset. So likewise, that upset will be shown on different persons. Likewise, it keeps on growing. It will burn one person, it will bring down Buddhinaso pranasyati. It will bring down to the lowest position in his while controlling his mind. So this is the lust or desire is not fulfilled. There is appearance of such wrath. But in the absence of wrath, how can there be any place for lust? So it everything comes from the contemplation. And when there is no uh, fulfillment of desires, there is no object of fulfillment of materialistic desires. How can anything would come into all these steps, karma, krodha, and all these things? So here Prabhupada is mentioning, and the Lord is the Apta Karma. So he fulfills all his desires by himself. He is Atma Rama. Atma Ramasya. This is नमो अकिंचनवित्ताय निवृत्तगुणवृत्तये आत्मारामा शान्ताय कैवल्यपते नमः. So he is always satisfied by himself. Atmaramam Purnakamam Nijalabhe Nityada. If we serve him, then it is only for our benefit, our purpose. It will help us when we fulfill Lord's desires. So Lord is unlimited. How can we fulfill? It is we have to endeavor for to serve the Lord. Lord is unlimited, and therefore his desires are also unlimited. All living entities but the Lord are limited in every respect. How can then be limited satisfy the desires of the unlimited? The conclusion is that absolute personality of Godhead has neither lust nor anger. And even if there is a shadow of lust and anger by the absolute, it should be considered an absolute benediction. So this is very beautiful pastimes Prabhupada is bringing here. About one is the Lord Shiva's pastime and Bhrugu's pastime, and about bringing the position of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He is above all. Sattvam Shuddham Vasudev Satchitam Yedete Tatra Puman Apavritah Sattve च तस्मिन् भगवान् वासुदेवो यदीयते यदोक्षजो मे मनसा vidhiyate. So Lord Shankara says he is always in the absorbed in the Vasudeva. Sattvam Shuddham Vasudeva Siddhitam. Okay, so that is from this Srimad Bhagavatam and this verse. So here Brahma is saying, Kamam dahanti kritino nanurosha drushtya rosham dahanti mutate na dahanti asahyam. Soyam yad antaram alam pravishan bhibeti kamah katam nu punarasya manah shrayeta. Okay, that is from Srimad Bhagavatam. So we shall quickly move into Srila Prabhupada's daily letter. So today it is letter to Umapati, March 30th, 1970, Los Angeles. It's a small letter, it's a big letter. Can I request any other devotees to read this letter, please? Okay, I shall read it in that case. My dear Umapati, please accept my blessings. I beg to acknowledge receipt of your letter dated 26th March 1970. I have also received the newspaper cutting in which the picture of George has come out, and it appears to be very nice because he has taken to chanting Hare Krishna mantra along with you. Actually, he has done some service to the cause of Krishna consciousness. Therefore, he must make progress in his spiritual advancement. The heading, An Anti-Alcoholic Beetle at Maxims, does it mean that George has given up alcohol? Anyway, I am pleased with his dealing with us, and I pray to Krishna that he shall make more and more advancement in Krishna consciousness. You have written to say that French people are eager to understand Vaishnava philosophy, and the summary of Vaishnava philosophy is as follows. God is a person like us, but he is all powerful with all opulences in full. The living entities are his eternal servants. There are varieties of living entities that have inherited the opulences of God, in different degrees. There are two kinds of nature, the spiritual nature and the material nature. The living entities belong to the spiritual nature, and the being part and parcel of the God, they have all the qualities of God in minute proportion. There are innumerable living entities both in the spiritual world and in the material world. The spiritual world is far, far greater than the material world. As such, the number of living entities living in the spiritual world is many more times greater than the number of living entities living within the material world. The living entities, when they try to lord it over the God's property, forgetting their constitutional position to remain as eternal servant of God, they are given the material world to act according to their desires. In such endless varieties of desires, the living entities are seen in varieties of bodies beginning from Brahma down to the most insignificant insect. In this way, when someone is fortunate, he, by the grace of spiritual master and Krishna, revives his Krishna consciousness. And if he makes progress under the direction of the spiritual master, then he revives his original Krishna consciousness in full, and thus he regains his position in the eternal kingdom of God. So, you know very well all these facts, and while preaching, you have to explain things nicely. Then you become a good preacher. Now, you try your best in this time of preaching work in this line of preaching work and be successful as you have taken birth as a human being. Our Vaishnava philosophy is in summary the teachings of Lord Chaitanya. You read them very carefully, word to word, and immediately begin translation into French language. So they may be published in French back to Godhead as well as in future they may be published in a book. I think Janardana is very busy in preparation for his PhD because I have also not heard from him for a long time. So let him continue his studies. There is no need of disturbing him at present. Better both you and Suridas take up this translation work seriously. I think there are some devotees in Montreal who can also translate into French language. Anyway, arrange for this work immediately without waiting anymore. You have not written anything whether you have been able to find out a suitable place for our temple. It was understood that when George goes there, he would help us in this matter. So I shall be glad to know how far you have been successful in this connection. It is all Krishna's grace that you have been favored with some publicity and more people are coming weekly for Kirtana. It is very much satisfactory and I hope Krishna will help you more and more. Please keep me informed about your further progress and offer my blessings to all the boys and girls there. Hope this will meet you in good health. Your ever well wisher, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. It's a very beautiful letter. It gives about uh, Vaishnava philosophy. So I request dear devotees, if you got any takeaway points, kindly share. Hare Krishna. Ram Lala Prabhuji, Sita Sundari Mataji, any points you wanted to mention?
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Yeah, very important point, actually. So actually, Prabhupada is happy when devotees are engaged in Krishna consciousness, they are preaching about it, and how they are preaching, how they are doing. He keep tasks who are doing what kind of job he is giving. And he also, another point especially mentioned about George Harrison, about the anti-alcohol Beatles. so, it is, yeah, so it always mentioning about the to avoid the regulation principle actually. So it should be without alcohol and other activities as well. So and and we have to mention God is a person, and we have to make relationship with Him, and God has some opulence, and we have minute proportion of His opulence. So if we do our is even minute proportion of the opulence, and to understand God, to realize God, only only through devotional service. That is the point. Yeah. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Any points, dear devotees, you wanted to add further? Okay, so that is Krishna is Supreme Personality of Godhead. He is all powerful with all opulences. Yesha Aishwarya Vairagya Yesho Bhoda Virya Shriya Purtam Aham Prapadhye. That Supreme Personality of Godhead. He has got all six opulences. We are children of God. We have inherited some opulences of the Lord in some different degrees. So this is the difference. And otherwise we are all part and parcel of the God. Maivam Jiva Loke Jiva Bhotaha Sanatanaha. We are eternal living entity. But somewhere or other we have got different bodies to experience these pains and pleasures. And we are sometimes we also feel that we are enjoying here. Okay, that is the nature of material world, that is dualities. Bhandva Mohena Bharata. And also Prabhupada is explaining about the spiritual world. This is what is called Vaikuntha Lokas. We have been discussing very beautifully on Saturdays. Lord's opulences and seeing them with the different pictures and his opulences entourage and how his beauties and so many of people with the 400 forms in the Vaikuntha Lokas and along with their concerts, so many airplanes, beautiful gardens. So that is Vaikuntha. So there are many more times greater than the number of living entities living within the material world. And that is when they try to lord it over the God's property, forgetting their constitutional position to remain as eternal servant of God, they are given material world to act according to their desires. Otherwise, the Lord doesn't have any desire to create a material world. It is our desires to lord it over material nature. So He has given this opportunity. Naitad batadisha padam tavechitam yenmayanaha tanuse bhota sukshmam anugrahaya astu api yerhimaya lasatulasya bhagam vilakshitaha. Kadama Prajapati says that it is our desire, living entity's desire to lord it over material nature. Otherwise, it is not your wish to create a material world and send the living entities to make them suffer. It is not your desire. It is living entities' desire. So, and in such endless varieties of desires, the living entities are seen in varieties of bodies, beginning from Brahma down to most insignificant insect. So, in this way, someone is fortunate. By the grace of the spiritual master and Krishna, he revives his Krishna consciousness. So, this is once again very beautiful part. Prabhupada is explaining the philosophy, Vaishnava philosophy. So one has to progress under the direction of a spiritual master. And Prabhupada was expecting this philosophy to be published in the Back to Godhead magazines whenever it is to be published, even in the different language, French to Back to Godhead. And also, this is also teachings of Lord Chaitanya in a summary. This is our Vaishnava philosophy. Okay, and Prabhupada is just asking about Janardana and whereabouts about his PhD. So these are few other things. And Prabhupada is very pleased and somewhere other to carry out the translation work. Okay, so these are points mentioned in this letter. Okay, so that is from Prabhupada's letter. And from the announcements point of view, so today evening we have got a Krishna book reading with Ram Nasik Prabhuji and Shyam Guriwada Prabhuji at 8 p.m. Okay, so that is our upcoming event, and Saturday is our evening is our Chaitanya Charitamrita. So introduction continued, to be continued. Okay, these are updates for me. And dear devotees, if you have got any other updates or you wanted to share anything else on Krishna consciousness, kindly share. Jai Krishna. Okay, so if there are no further updates, we shall conclude and continue with further japa. वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। अनन्तकोटि वैष्णवेभ्यो श्री प्रभुपाद की जय।
Yeah.
कृष्ण conscious living. जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत